he saw a kind of creeping socialism, starting with Nehru's first 5-year plan, which was quite sensible, then becoming increasingly statist by the time of the second 5-year plan. And by then they'd shut down the whole import-export trade. They brought in industrial licensing. They had completely they nationalized certain industries like, Tata Airlines were taken over and nationalized. And so that was very much as though this was going to get worse and worse. So then what happened was that he got to know Rajaji, whom he had known before, who was also rather, dismayed by the way that Nehru was taking things, because especially after Patel's death, Nehru was taking the Congress increasingly in a socialist direction. And the open economy which had existed under the Raj had been really shut down, so that Indian business was suffering quite badly. They were not able to take advantage of the trade opportunities that were opening up all over the world, because after World War II, world trade completely took off, and you had economies like the Eastern Tiger economies, which became rich overnight by cashing in on that. And India would have been very well poised with its strong merchant community and trading history to, and it had a decent industrial base with, in India, in 1947, far from the British leaving India deindustrialized, they left India with the world's fourth largest textile industry, the largest jute industry. Half of the developing world's steel was produced by India, ahead of all other developing countries. And a whole range of goods in Indian industry was ready to take off after the depression years of the 20s and 30s, in which the whole world had been stagnant. But unfortunately, that was the moment when Nehru decided to go for socialism. So Indian business found itself increasingly fettered. And then they were talking about extending this to the agrarian sector with cooperative farming, etc., which my father, from his knowledge of Soviet collectivization, thought would be a complete sort of, kind of ravaging of India's agrarian system. And they started with repealing zamindari, which up to a point was okay, but then the land reform process was going further and further against anyone who had reasonable-sized land holdings. So that's when Rajaji and my father got together, and they also got support from dissident business people and dissident people in the princely community who had quite a lot of mass support at that time, because what emerged was a kind of coalition between the princely order and the dissident business communities in urban intellectuals, which took the form of the new party that was launched in 1959, the Swatantra Party.